Picture this for a second. You're 21 years old today. You're just stepping out into the world. You're supposedly ready to kickstart your career. And honestly, you're already feeling completely wiped out. And you haven't even really started yet. You look around and you feel entirely invisible. It just feels like there's no such thing as a safe job anymore. Getting ahead feels basically impossible. And you're staring down the barrel of AI disrupting literally everything. It is a lot. But what if I told you that you don't actually have to feel stuck? Welcome to today's Explainer, where my recent research has uncovered a totally new path forward. We're going to map out the exact blueprint for not just surviving, but actually thriving in this wild new digital economy.
So to figure out how to actually win here, we first have to ask a pretty terrifying question. Why does it feel like we're failing before we even start? The existential realization here is honestly kind of wild when it hits you. Think about it. We've all just spent 12 solid years in a schooling system that essentially trained us to be standardized component labor. It prepared us for an industrial age that, well, it simply doesn't exist anymore. We were heavily trained to follow all the rules, ask for permission to use the bathroom, and eventually hand over a nice, neat resume to some faceless corporation. We've basically been practicing for over a decade to play a game where the board has already been completely flipped over.
Okay, let's dive into this crucial shift. Back in the industrial age, the rulebook was super straightforward. You gained your standardized skills, you slapped them onto a piece of paper, and you went to an employer to essentially beg for a job. But the digital age, it operates on a totally different frequency. Based on the research, the new currency isn't your resume anymore. It's actually building a personal brand based around your own unique ideas and actively creating demand for yourself. The real economic power has completely shifted away from those massive, slow-moving institutions, and it's landed right into the pockets of agile, everyday individuals. Now, right about now, you might be thinking, come on, the internet is so crowded. Everybody and their mom is already doing this. How on earth is a student supposed to stand out? Well, actually, standing out is mathematically incredibly simple. Whether we're looking at professional networking sites or those massive video platforms, the breakdown is shockingly consistent across the board. Out of every 100 people online, about 99 of them are entirely passive consumers. They're just lurking, scrolling, liking, watching, but never creating. Only a tiny, tiny fraction, just about 1%, are active creators. So you aren't competing with billions of people. You're literally only competing with that tiny 1% who actually have the guts to hit publish. You just have to make that mental shift from consuming to publishing.
Right, so how do we actually break into that top 1% and get people to remember us? Our brains have extremely limited memory slots. I mean, we delete almost everything we see as we walk down the digital street every day. To genuinely get inside someone's head, you have to build what the research calls a parasocial relationship. It's basically a one-sided relationship where your audience feels like they genuinely, personally know you, kind of like how you feel like you might actually know your favorite celebrity. And to do that, there's a specific, proven mathematical formula. It starts with step 1, 7 hours. People need to spend a total of 7 hours consuming your content to feel a real trusting connection with you.
But actually, scratch that. It's not just about one long 7-hour binge. 7 hours is just the baseline. They also need 11 distinct interactions with you. Think of these as individual touchpoints. It's just not enough for someone to watch one massive, movie-length piece of content from you. They need to see a short clip on Tuesday, read a quick post on Thursday, maybe get an email over the weekend, or hear a little audio snippet. These 11 separate interactions start to build a rhythm. That rhythm is what solidifies you in their limited memory slots, totally transforming you from just another stranger into a familiar, trusted face.
And to cap it all off, to make this parasocial relationship completely bulletproof, those 11 interactions across those 7 hours, they've got to happen across 4 different platforms. Maybe they catch you on a short-form video app first, then they read an insightful post on a professional network. Later, they listen to an interview you did, and finally, they join your community group. When they see you popping up in multiple different contexts, their brain subconsciously makes a decision. It says, whoa, this person is everywhere. They must be important. That right there is the exact formula for becoming totally unforgettable. But okay, let's bring this all back down to earth for our 21-year-old student. Understanding the math behind a personal brand is awesome in theory, but actually executing it, that sounds super intimidating. So the absolute crucial question is this: how do we test the waters without risking it all? How do you actually start building this today without quitting school or, going into a mountain of debt? Well, the answer is by launching what's called an open and shut side hustle. We are not talking about a lifelong commitment here. We're talking about a highly contained, super safe experiment. So here is the researched step-by-step checklist for launching that very first side hustle. Step 1, define a strict, non-negotiable 90-day boundary. Step 2, promote the offering. Step 3, execute the sale and deliver the goods, and step 4, completely shut it down and evaluate. Honestly, think of it like organizing a massive themed party or selling seasonal items for a specific holiday. You've got the setup phase, the big event itself, you split the cash, and then boom, it's over. You get all that invaluable, real-world learning experience, but without the heavy burden of getting permanently trapped in some long-term business venture.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it reveals the ultimate, absolute secret to modern business. Most people fail because they do it backwards. They secure the supply first. They go out and buy a bunch of expensive inventory, or they spend 6 months building a complex app, and only then do they try to find customers. But the golden rule of the digital economy is this: always test demand before securing supply. You literally have to sell the concept before you even build the product. You want to see if people will actually line up for your idea before you spend a single dime making it a reality.
Let's map this out with an exact, actionable 90-day plan to test literally any new business idea you might have. Day 1, you run some super simple online ads pointing directly to a waitlist page. Remember, you don't even have a product yet, just a really compelling idea. Day 30, for all the folks who joined that waitlist, you send out a needs analysis survey to figure out what their actual burning problems are. Day 60, you invite the most engaged people from that survey into an online discussion group, and you just talk to them, find out what makes them tick. Then, day 90, you use all that amazing data to evaluate and finally launch something hyper-personalized. By introducing friction, like those waitlists and surveys, you are accurately measuring true market desire before you've built a single physical thing.
So I want to pause right here and actually turn this over to you. What is your 90-day idea? Seriously, drop your side hustle concept in the comments below right now. Let's get a real community going down there, bounce some ideas off each other, and see what the demand actually looks like. And hey, while you're at it, be sure to hit that subscribe button to follow my personal 90-day journey as I put these exact concepts to the test. Let's hold each other accountable for sure.
Now, let's say your 90-day test goes incredibly well. It works brilliantly, and you want to turn this into a real sustainable career path. To monetize your brand for the long haul, you're going to need a specific toolkit. The research points to the 5 pillars of success: pitch, publish, product, profile, and partnerships. You've got to learn how to pitch your ideas in a compelling way, publish consistently to build that familiarity we talked about, package your knowledge into a scalable product, raise your profile in the industry, and form strategic partnerships to expand your reach even further. Master these 5 pillars, and I promise you, you master the digital economy.
But look, out of those 5 pillars, publishing is usually where almost everybody freezes up, especially at the beginning. They think, man, I'm only 21, I'm definitely not an expert yet, but we need to totally redefine that mindset right now. Publishing is simply putting your ideas out into the public domain to provide some free value and become familiar. That's it. You absolutely do not need to be an expert. You just need to condense your daily learnings into small pieces of truth and share them. If you learned one tiny fascinating thing in class today, write it down, record it, and hit publish. Over time, those tiny little pieces of truth will compound into an undeniable, massive mountain of value.
But doing all this, it's not going to be easy if you're constantly surrounded by people who are still trying to play the old game. The old environment basically demanded that you follow the rules and act as standard, replaceable labor. Meanwhile, the new environment thrives entirely on unique ideas and disruptive thinking. And the undeniable truth is that your environment dictates your performance. If you're sitting in a room right now where everyone thinks publishing your ideas online is weird or cringe, you're never going to do it. You have to actively go out and seek digital communities, discussion groups, and networks that make this weird new path feel totally 100% normal. Change your environment and you literally change your entire trajectory.
Which brings us to our final, and honestly perhaps our most important question of this whole explainer. You currently hold the tools of a literal multinational corporation right in your pocket. A global broadcasting network, a supercomputer for data analysis, and instant connection to billions of people. It's all just sitting right there in your smartphone. So, what's your next move going to be? Are you going to stay invisible, playing by the rules of an industrial age that is completely ended? Or will you make the shift from being a passive consumer to an active creator and start building your own mountain? The blueprint is right here in your hands. The demand is out there, just waiting to be tested. It is time to get to work.